Garnacho for me is an exceptionally talented young man, but I worry for him. And just an observation, call me old-fashioned, call me a dinosaur. He's got 2 earrings in the warm-up on the pitch. And he's a young boy, he's just learning the game. You know, you just want to come back to the point that Joe Cole made about good senior pros, pointing out to younger guys how you live your life, how you act, how you train, your attitude to life. And I just worry, it's an age-old thing. It's not a new thing, by the way, at Man United. Man United have always been the most glamorous football club in this country. They're a bit like Bayern Munich in Germany are called FC Hollywood. I think you could use the same term to talk about Man United. They get too much too soon at Man United. That's my take on it. I've been a player and a manager in English for a very long time. When we were the dominant team at Liverpool, they were still the players were bigger stars than we were. They get so much attention, Man United players, and I think it's to the detriment, especially in the modern game, when the kind of rewards these boys get. They get far too much too soon. And I think Rashford is a case in point at 25, should just now be approaching his best years. It looks his best years are long gone.
Simon, is all forgiven if United win the cup?
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, like I say, can you imagine United pinned back in the half doing what Real Madrid were doing? Because City will have all the dominance, and I do believe that, we can beat City on our day, but I just don't think the mentality of the players is there. Like right now, I'd take a Park Ji-sung or a Valencia or what we had, because we used to have rosters in the team that, maybe wasn't as technically gifted as your Garnachos or Rashford or whatever, but they would always put in a shift. And now we just know, as United fans, that we're just not going to get that at all.
Listen, Simon, thank you so much. Thanks for your time and your points. Extremely good points.
But they'll do it against City. The point he's making is a good point, and Graeme. Let me just see what point is and see how irrelevant you think it may be. There's arrogance about not being prepared to do certain things against opposition that they think they're superior to. They know they're not superior to Manchester City. They know there's a possibility they're going to get played off the park. So there might be a reaction from the Man United players that they're prepared to do certain things that they wouldn't be against Coventry, because there's an expectation in their minds like, what are we doing against Coventry? We don't need to.
Guys, we've got Dan back, who's desperate to join us. We've got him back and he wants to come to air with us. We thought it was Pete. It was going to be Pete, then it was Dan. Then it was Dan, then it was Pete. But it is Dan. Dan, good morning. What do you want to say?
Hi chaps, how you going?
Good, mate, good. So listen, United are in the final. What's your take on it?
Well, it's actually quite funny because the last 4 or 5 games I actually think were worse than the Coventry game yesterday. Coventry scored the first goal and that was a good goal. I think the next 2 were a little bit fortunate. I think that deflection is one in the middle. The penalty is a little bit soft, especially after the Grealish one not being given the day before. But what they weren't doing in that was letting people run straight through the middle, which they have been doing with the 3-man midfield for basically all season. And that's the only issue I've got with Ten Hag, is he's not fixed that. That it seems to be so easy for teams to get 20, 25 shots a half, and then you're going to have to score 4 goals to win a game, which we just don't have the ability to do.
Yeah. And many people, Dan, agreeing with Graeme. Graeme Souness sitting to my left here, regards what he's just said about leaders. Graeme is spot on. Standards are set by leaders. United desperately need a Keane, a Bruce, a Robson, or even a Souness in his time at Liverpool. Dan, is that your take on the United you watched today?
Yeah, exactly right. It does. I think Bruno gets a lot of stick, especially in the media. But at least he puts the game in. And I know I don't like some of the antics he comes up with. I think it's real childish. But at least he got 5 goals in 4 games or something like that. At least he's performing a little bit. But what has everybody else done? What can anyone else say? Who else has been consistent this year? No one really. And I feel for Højlund because he's getting no service at all. Like, would he have half a chance yesterday and that's it, other than the penalty?
Dan, another good call. Thank you very much. Graeme, what was your take on Antony, who's come in for a lot of flack, when United did get there in the end, after much huffing and puffing and win the penalty shootout, and is giving it one of those cupping of the ear to the Coventry fan?
It's naff. One of the bigger, again, I come back to senior player, you pulled them and said, we don't do that. Man United are a class act. Historically, they've been, they've shared disasters like my old club has, but they've always been an absolute class act. For to have a player like that acting in that way, it's naff. It's like, just don't do that as a Man United player.
Yeah.
It wasn't Real Madrid you've just knocked out. It was Coventry, a team from the Championship.
Would you go up to him, give him a tug? What are you up to?
Most definitely, yeah. It's not something, but I come back to the senior player aspect, Jim. All the bad habits are ironed out on the training ground. Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen it from him. doing daft stuff.
Yeah.
That would, all the daft stuff about Rashford not closing down properly.
Yeah.
About antics on the training ground. That's all on match day. That's all ironed out on the training ground. You get after them on the training ground, and as a manager, you encourage your senior players to get after them on the training ground.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.